So, EPT Prague is almost upon us. Joe, I think it's fair to say this is one of the most fun events of any normal year.
Yeah, just something about mid-December that has everyone in a very festive mood.
Yeah, 2016 was no exception. Enjoy these highlights from that year and give us a like and a subscribe while you're at it.
So just to confirm the payout information announced by Thomas Lamache, a prize pool of 5.78 million euros. 231 players getting paid, a min cash worth 7,560 euros, and the winner receiving close to 775 grand. Dvoress is open to 3,800. We see a 3-bet from Luca Pagano in the small blind. He has made it 8,900. It's back on Dvoress. We mentioned at the start of the day that Luca is a guy who has achieved so much during the 13 seasons of the EPT. 7 final tables, 21 main event cashes, but no win. He did take down the charity event during the Prague Festival, but he wants to win a main event title, and this is his last opportunity. Dvoress responds with a 4-bet, 23,800.
Bet. Gosh, that feels like a rarity.
At this stage of the tournament, yes. It's the first I've seen today, other than an all-in.
All in.
5-bet shove from Luca, called by Dvoress, who will be at risk here.
A very fast call, seems confident. Kings versus ace-king.
Dvoress with the kings, Luca with the ace-king. Dvoress needs kings to hold. He's the player who is all in, but Luca will only be left with 16,500 if he can't spike an ace.
I've got a good feeling, but that's irrelevant.
Well, it's one of those situations where Luca's only 30%, but if he does hit that ace, it becomes nigh and impossible for Dvoress to win with only 1 out. The flop has no ace on it.
But wait.
It is all about the backdoors, and running diamonds would work for him.
If not an ace on the turn, then perhaps a diamond. Yes, indeedy. 11 outs, not too many outs, the perfect amount of outs. I smell a deuce of diamonds.
A diamond or an ace will eliminate Daniel Dvoress, but it's the 10 of spades on the river. Kings hold. And Luca knows that that was most of his stack, and that could be his tournament. He's down to just 10 bigs. Moonchild says, darts is fun, even for girls like I. Every Friday, I go for my 180 and miss it, but still fun, fun, fun.
Yeah, big thing for the UK, the ladies' pub dance team leagues. Honestly, James, I think maybe when you're a bit older, you might... Steve Beaton, thank you everybody, by the way. That was Steve the Adonis Beaton. There's some simple pleasures to be had. It's an all-in and a call. Come on then. Come on the 8s.
So it's Luca all in for his last 11,500, called by Daniel Dvoress, and it is a classic race. The pocket 8s against the ace-king suited. Pagano a slight favourite with 5 cards to come. Needs 8s to hold. He's at risk.
I got a bit of a bad feeling. I really want the fairy tale story of Luca Pagano in the last EPT, but I've just got a really bad feeling about this hand.
Well, that's not a bad flop for 8s.
I've still got a bad feeling about this hand.
Spades not a factor. Oh, ace on the turn.
I don't know if I mentioned it, but I had a really bad feeling about this.
Yeah, no, you made that
Did
abundantly
I? Right.
clear.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
2 outs are 2 outs. 5% is 5%.
Yeah, a lot of
8 on the river?
Don't give up.
No.
Oh.
If you stayed with us during the break and saw some of those classic Luca Pagano EPT moments, you will have witnessed the fact that this man has got horribly lucky over the years.
True.
Loses a race there, which sends him to the rail, taking us below the 400 mark as we play on towards the money here on day 2 of the EPT Prague main event. As we see Brandau all in and at risk.
Good luck for both.
Robinson open, Brandau shoved, Robinson called. And Brandau is way behind.
Yeah.
Now he's in the bag thing, he's gonna win.
It ain't all over just yet.
I mean, again, this is a spot where I do think you just call the raise and see a flop.
We'll block it out.
You've got around 35 big blinds. You don't need to ship here, and now you're drawing almost dead.
It does seem a bit extreme, doesn't it? Because if you just called and saw that flop, well, now you've got options and you've still got a decent stack. And
This way?
Oh,
I had perhaps 6.
7 outs for Brandau.
Badaroo.
The river card is a spade.
Oh, man.
Ace is cracked.
How much?
Brandau makes a very questionable shove and catches runner to make a flush and survive. So this is a button raise from Benjamin Richardson. PokerStars qualifier from Australia.
Yeah, I noticed earlier on Twitter that Daniel had said, is there any chance if I make it to the Bahamas I could be a qualifier? You could be our qualifier, but of course you actually have to qualify first. So it's, you know, it's kind of a provisional yeah,
And
but you've got to do all the hard work.
the fact that Daniel is asking if we can pay for his entry implies that he has failed to qualify.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to mention that. I wasn't going to call him out on that, but yes, that part of it definitely not worth referring to.
Meanwhile, this has escalated. Richardson opened on the button. Petrika shoved from the small blind. Richardson has called, and it's jacks against 9s. Petrika, the player at risk, but he is a 4-1 favourite to double up here.
Good luck, man.
Oh, wow!
Oh, wow.
What a flop! A full house against quads? Oh, come on!
Is that real? Can we just check the graphics team aren't just having a joke?
The Hollywood screenwriters have come to Prague. Well, it's obvious what Petrika needs to hit. Will it be quads against quads? 1 out for the Romanian. Doesn't hit. That was pretty horrible.
Gonna be a good story, right?
Sorry. I'm sorry that I swore.
What hashtag's that, James?
Yeah, you too. Bye.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is hashtag death by quads.
All right, so we're going to a flop.
We're going to a flop with a pot which is already
Where
40k,
did
right?
all our Engel's chips
40k
go?
and Ari. What?
What did I miss?
You just free bet. You just put 17,000 chips.
Where have you been, Joe?
You never had that many chips to begin with. So Ari, we have barely more than a pot size bet left. Who checks it back?
Power board, 10 high, 2 spades.
You probably will check it again. Or not. but really small. 7,000 into 40k.
After this hand, we'll take a look at some of those card protectors.
What rating system are you going to be employing here, Joe?
How many? I think Elke should award it. The top prize would be a Mao 5.
Right.
Mouse.
On down from Mao 4, Mao 3, Mao 2, Mao 1.
Oh, one.
Very good. Very good.
Oh, what?
Ooh.
Snapped tens? Did he flip set? Looked like he flipped a set and looked like Attila was trapping with a big pair.
Yeah, he was.
So sick.
Wow. Wouch.
Pretty
Man.
sick spot to be in for both actually. I
Two
mean,
outs for Attila.
it was gonna get in pre-flop anyways. But I think
King ball. Almost.
2 outs didn't materialize, and Ari doubles up again. I mean, he didn't double up the first time, but now he doubles up to a huge stack of 140k, I believe. Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate for Attila, but you can't blame him too much for flatting with kings here, because if Ari has a real hand, you're most likely gonna get the money in anyways.
Do you think Ari's going to be bluffing that often with his stack size?
Yeah, Ari not too often though. That's kind of the thing.
These are the top 10 chip stacks in the room. Nicholas Schweety is top of that table. A man known simply as Dvoress is in second place. Let's just leave it at that, 547,000. And you can see that a lot of players over 100 big blinds.
Kabrhel keeping up that pre-flop aggression. And this is a super dry board. I would be a little trepidatious when I get called by
Yeah.
Meyer in this spot.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Martin Kabrhel try and win as many pots as possible, which I know is like a really obvious thing to say in poker, but I think beyond the average expectation, he
Sorry,
is
can I know how much he has behind?
Most
Can you
definitely.
help me with the big chips, please?
Mr. Boss, Mr. Chatty.
I just want the big chips. I can't see that.
Floor on table free.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Those are all the chips he has,
he's
mate.
done all he can.
Yeah, thank you.
Floor table free.
I don't know why Meyer
No.
moved the big chips behind after that, but
Or if I can just ask you to make it by 5.
What is the problem?
He wants to.
I want to see how many chips is it.
You can see it?
Yeah, it's difficult to count.
Really?
Yes.
Is this a joke?
Can you make it by 5 or something more visible?
this
Is
is
it
a
possible?
bizarre request.
I would say so far, but like sticking by rules, I'm asking players to start by 20 when they get under 20.
Okay. Okay,
We do
it's
assume
my
it's
problem, yeah?
like readable enough.
Thank you very much. Okay.
You can obviously ask him, and then it's up
Yeah,
to
yeah.
him. To
Okay, okay,
guide
thank you.
Up to him to ignore you. Mayor did say, is this a joke?
Can you stack them by 5s?
It's ridiculous.
Can you just do them in 7 stacks of 7, please? one stack of 12.
You know what he needs? He needs his own PokerStars blogger, because those guys from 100 yards
Yeah.
away can look
It's
at someone's stack.
187,000, mate.
167.5.
Well, we know Meyer's got 95,000.
Do we? Can you see that
39.
from here, though?
People under 39.
Could you lay them all out individually? Could you put a post-it note on the front of each column with the total inside?
All in.
How much is it?
How much is it? Have you not worked that out? What was the last 20 minutes
Well,
about?
now he's entitled to a count.
Yeah,
95,000.
that's
He's
fine.
like, I was going to find out how many chips you had one way or another. I have no intention of calling this, but now I want to know how much.
Honesty Monkey is saying he's out
That's
of line.
a call. I see an
Oh.
ace-jack for Kabrhel.
Oh,
Meyer standing up.
going to be an ace-10 then, I'm guessing, or worse.
Two
Pocket
nines. This
Man,
is...
that's a bit of a crazy thing.
It was a little crazy.
Wow. I did not expect Mayer to be going up against Kabrhel with anything other than an ace-something. Rocking the zip, just 9 of hearts, 9 of diamonds. The only 2 cards to believe in.
I mean, look, if Kabrhel had some sort of quote-unquote speech play in mind when he... Oh, my goodness. Wow.
How How much? 95?
I promise you, had I been standing out there, I wouldn't have shouted yay and fist pumped.
Wow. No pictures, please.
No pictures, please. Rock and roll. Man.
Shame on me. Sorry.
Yeah.
Shame on me.
A
That's
little
fine. It's poker, man.
Embarrassed.
It just happens.
That is disgusting.
Wow, sick.
Takes you right. Why the right? Why is she?
Wow, we had the ace on the river out in the bubble yesterday, and now we see that 9 on the end. It's a 2-outer festival. A lot of love for Phil's calling the clock there.
Phil Gruissem calling the clock pre-flop on Martin Kabrhel.
There are some players I just don't think I have the patience for. If I was down on the table, I'd just be like, as soon as they get their cards, I'd be like, clock.
Can't exactly do that, but
You can do exactly what you want, Joe.
I mean, it doesn't mean that clock will be called.
True.
Player needs to have sufficient time to think about their decision before you're allowed to call the clock.
Thanks.
A reasonable amount of time.
Sounds subjective to me, Joe.
It is
What if I was
subjective.
hugely impatient? Then that might seem reasonable to me.
Can you tell me how much you have, Philip?
Just count it.
Outsider Bird asks, aren't you afraid that a player might be listening and make...
It's done it again.
Phil Gruissem calling the clock again.
Can you please leave with the chips at least to have me count?
You know what? I'm not
It
going
doesn't have to do that.
Can you, it's really not normal.
I'm going to watch this instead.
Yeah.
Now, he hadn't even had a minute yet, but the point is that you don't always need a full minute pre-flop.
He was calling time after 5 seconds, and he was even not let his stack. It was so bad from him. Sorry. Okay.
You've been thinking for a minute. This is for sure because
I didn't even know how much he has.
Yes, I'm just saying.
It's important for me.
So we'll try stop arguing and
I
find
did-
the best way to play poker together.
Everything is fine. I just see the.
The flow of the table is that
Have you been
he's
long in
been
this table?
thinking for quite
Have you
long
been a long time in this?
for the last few hands. This is the flow of the game.
No, because I was thinking going all in, and I need to know how much they have. What is this? It's really not normal.
I'm really not complaining that easily. You have to play really slow, so I complain. Yeah.
What the fuck? I was playing only one big hand. No, it's not true. I was playing only one big hand, otherwise I play really quick. It's not normal.
Now we're gonna let them play.
Okay.
3.
Yeah, but it's ridiculous.
Now we're going to let them play. You go drink your enormous 16-litre bottle of water.
Shuffling even with big chips, so it's impossible for me to count. When I asked him, he said no.
He hadn't
didn't.
looked at
It's
the
not
chip
normal.
stack even once before Phil called the clock.
Anyway,
Phil Gruissem has made a point. Not the kind of guy that's going to call the clock unless someone is routinely taking a long time.
No.
And I cannot guarantee for
And it is every player's prerogative to not tell you what their chip stacks are. They don't have to stack them.
He does have to move his hands.
Yeah, that's fine.
I cannot guarantee
But certainly there's much more of a problem for Martin than anybody else right now. But it is not his problem right now as Phil and Peter go to war. It was an under-the-gun raise from Peter Jaksland that kicked all this off. And now after the Queen of Clubs on the turn, Phil has checked and Peter has continued. Delayed C-bet to 13.
And that is the end of this level. We are going on a break. Let us keep this table though, huh?
Yep.
and I cannot guarantee for
And it is every player's prerogative to not tell you what their chip stacks are. They don't have to stack them.
He does have to move his hands.
Yeah, that's fine.
I cannot guarantee
But certainly there's much more of a problem for Martin than anybody else right now. But it is not his problem right now as Phil and Peter go to war. It was an under-the-gun raise from Peter Jaksland that kicked all this off. And now after the Queen of Clubs on the turn, Phil has checked and Peter has continued. Delayed C-bet to 13.
And that is the end of this level. We are going on a break. Let us keep this table though, huh?
Yep.
One more time for good measure. Let's see it.
Peters leads with 2 million, a pretty healthy lead on the guy who's second on the leaderboard. 169 bigs for Peters because we're playing 6,000, 12,000 with a 2,000 ante. I can tell you that we still have two former champs in the field, Salvatore Bonavena and Max Likov. Bonavena, of course, a former champ from Prague. Only one person wrapping the red spade, though, Felipe Ramos from Team Pro, and he headlines our first feature table of the day.
A raise from Mr. Bonavena. We've not seen much of him since this new feature table formed. When they got down to 24, he's made it 65,000. Got the call from Sergei.
You bet, and I call, and the river I heads up this.
Petrushevskii.
I put you on ace king.
And now a queen 7-4 rainbow flop. Check from the original aggressor on the button.
Question for Selena on Twitch. Selena, are you a good cooker?
I'm not a cooker, I'm a good cook. I'm a very good cook, actually. I pride myself in my cooking. Yeah.
105,000 from Salvatore, called by Sergei here. Now got a pot. 425,000.
All right, let's recap the action here. Is Bonavena the original raiser? Petrushevskii obviously called. Check on the flop. Bonavena delayed continuation bet on the turn. Now does not elect to bet river. What kinds of hands, Selena, would you raise and then not continuation bet flop and then bet turn if you're Salvatore?
I mean, God, I think I would bet the flop a lot.
Yeah.
With pretty much any hand I have on that board, especially. But with these players, I could see him possibly holding, you know, maybe like a Jack 10 kind of hand.
You know, if you have Jack 10 that you can pick off a bluff here, this can be tough to pick this off with Jack 10, and obviously not King Jack at this point. Maybe just a random 9, like an ace 9 you decided to raise with suited.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just surprised that there was no c-bet from the original pre-flop raiser.
Bonavena calls.
Wow.
Oh, wow. For his tournament life.
Set of 9s for Petrushevskii.
Wow. Oh, wow. I mean,
Man.
Yeah.
And that's it. With that call, we're going to lose Salvatore Bonavena, the last remaining previous champ in the field.
With that call, we will only have one 2-time winner of an EPT ever. That distinction remains
1 hour. Yeah.
Victoria Cohen Mitchell's and hers alone.
Let's have a look at the stacks of those final 6. It's the Hungarian player Martin Szuzor who comes into players chip leader, 80 bigs. David Peters second on the leaderboard with 72 bigs. No real short stack here. Marius Giersa, the low man at the table, but he's still got the better part of a 30 big blind stack as we kick off level 30 with blinds at 60,000, 120,000 with a 20,000 ante. Szuzor, the chip leader with pocket 10s under the gun.
We're going to be saying the word final a lot today.
Looks like it's been folded to David Peters on the button. He's got a pocket pair, 9s.
Yeah.
While Peters has just called the raise on the button.
Yeah.
In a spot where he is dominated. Sam Cohen with Queen 8. And getting a reasonable price to call out of the big blind and make this a 3-way party.
This will be awesome if it just comes Queen High now. Queen 8 cracks 9s and 10s.
More than $1 million in the middle already. It is a Queen 8 deuce flop. Top 2 for Sam Cohen.
What a great spot for Sam. It's not a super dangerous looking board for each of these players. She's going to be really confident in her hand.
No continuation bet from Szuzor. Action check to David Peters.
She can't even get counterfeited.
Peters with the worst hand. 8% equity bets. 350,000, roughly a third of the pot.
Looks like she is going to come in for a raise.
Yeah, those are the 100K chips.
Can't blame her. I think this gets 2 folds a lot of the time.
Raises to $1 million straight, which gets a fold from Suzor.
I just don't think Sam's going to get too out of line in this spot very often. He hasn't folded yet, which has me worried.
Carl Parrish has just joined us. I see Sam Cohen still running good. Will she be the first American woman to win an EPT? That is correct, Carl. Kai is also rooting for Sam. We need more women in the game. It's the first day of Kai's vacation, so she is able to watch the entire stream today. Some people have taken the day off work, Joe, to watch the last ever EPT.
So obviously David Peters here realizes that her value range is very narrow. She doesn't have queens. Ay-ya.
9 on the turn gives Peters a set.
That's really, really gross. Maybe the heart will save her. Although I guess she does have a hard draw herself now too. She is out to a full house. But man, oh man.
Peters, now a 3-1 favorite.
All in.
She shoves the turn.
Oh boy.
And David Peters calls.
Oh boy.
Sam Cohen at risk and looking for a queen or a heart on the river. 10 outs.
Drawing thin, but not super thin. 1 in 4 times she gets there.
Unless it's a queen or a heart on the river, we lose a player. It is not a queen, it is not a heart. Sam Cohen departs in 6th place.
Wow, that's just so unlucky.
Cashing for 145,900 euros, taking us down to 5 players, and David Peters reclaims the chip lead that he's held for so much of this tournament, up to nearly 14 million in chips, 13.4 million to be precise, more than 110 big blinds for Peters. We've played roughly an hour of poker since the start of this level.
Yep.
And the stacks are pretty much where they were at the start of this level, before Peters got the double up, before Suzor got the double up. Maya folds the button. Martin Suzor in the small blind. As ace-queen.
All right.
Shoves on Peters.
We know he likes to give it a good think no matter what. Take a look at these cards. Thank goodness we've got whole cards today, or this would have been torture.
Well, Peters hasn't actually put his cards on the scanner yet, so we don't know what he has. Peters calls all in.
We're going to see him one way or another. He doesn't like the ace-queen.
Looks like Suzor is ahead.
Oh, this is going to be domination nation.
Peters way behind and at risk.
So stressed out.
So if ace-queen holds here, we lose David Peters in 3rd. We go heads up in the final EPT.
I don't know what Martin wants. This is as good a spot as you could hope for.
It's a 7
man.
on the flop. Domination rotation as Peters becomes a 4-1 favorite to double up and survive.
David Peters with his domination indignation.
So David Peters just has to fade an ace on the river. He does not want to see Barry Greenstein.
No one does, really.
It's an ace!
Wow!
And that's Peters done for. Martin Suzor eliminates the GPI Player of the Year.
Man, did he fight hard or what?
David Peters outflopped his opponent, got it in bad, got lucky, survived the turn, but then became a victim of Barry Greenstein. The ace on the river. Well, look at that now. 29 $6.5 million for Maya, 6.2 million for Suzor. 100 big blinds plays 20 big blinds. Huge lead for the Dutchman.
I think we should all go with Jasper from now on.
Well, he's raised with King Jack suited. Deuces for Suzor. We see all 5 cards. This will be a flip. I don't know, 25 big blinds, any pocket pair.
Heads up.
Do you rip it here?
I mean, I do because I'm terrible and I'm tired. I don't mean me now, I just mean if I was a player.
Although you are terrible and tired.
Yeah, no, that too.
Question is, if Suzor does move all in, and yes, he shoves, and Maya wants a call, wants a count rather, and is this a call here with King Jack?
I think he's just trying to process the gravity of the situation and that we are going to see a call. This will be a flip, like the EPT versus the PokerStars Championship. Oh, he wants to do it so bad.
8 million. The all-in from Suzor. He calls, and we are off to the races.
Wow, this could be it.
Flipping for the title. Suzor ahead, but only just. Actually, a statistical underdog against King Jack.
Somebody must have folded a deuce.
The Hungarians want deuces to hold so their man can get back in the game.
What a sick flip.
If Maya connects, this is all over, and he has won the last ever EPT. There's a jack on the flop. Maya takes the lead and can taste victory now.
Really tough to come back from this.
Suzor needs a deuce, and he needs to hit on the river. Only a 5% chance of survival, a 95% chance that we're about to crown our final champion.
Any quacks about?
The river card. It's a 9 and it's all over! Literally. The European Poker Tour concludes with Jasper Maya van Putten taking the title, the trophy, and 700,000 euros.
And it's now time to crown the last EPT champion. Please put your hands together. He's walking away with 770,000 euros. Mr. Jasper Maya van Putten.